Hello everybody, John from Movie Burners here, back with another movie review, and today I'm going to be discussing the critically acclaimed 3 Billboards Outside of Ebbing, Missouri, directed by Martin McDonagh, a man whose work I have always enjoyed tremendously and who I'm a big fan of. He's an excellent writer-director in the same vein as Del Toro, Tarantino or even a Shyamalan, in that his films are almost a subgenre unto themselves. And certainly his previous 2 films, In Bruges and 7 Psychopaths, were both great in their own distinctive ways. With that in mind, I had a fair idea prior to watching this film that it would be right up my street, and it certainly was right up my street. It's by far his best feature film to date and focuses primarily on one woman's battle against the authorities. Mildred Hayes, played by Frances McDormand, is like a woman possessed with her pent-up grief directed into righting the perceived failings of the Ebbing police force. 7 months have passed since her daughter's brutal rape and murder, with the case steeped in mystery and the killer still at large. It's this fact which prompts her to emblazon 3 separate messages on billboards outside of the town, putting down $5,000 for the pleasure. These billboards read 3 very simple pointed messages in 20-foot black writing on a blood red background. Raped while dying, still no arrests, how come Chief Willoughby? This of course catches the attention of its intended recipients, the police and its chief, played by Woody Harrelson, who initially hoped the whole thing will blow over without much controversy. We hear Dixon saying that nobody ever goes down that road anyway unless they are lost or retards. But this is just the beginning, and any hope of things blowing over goes out of the window when Mildred does an interview with a news reporter taking the story to an even larger audience. Mildred has no intentions of letting things go. She blames Willoughby along with a host of others, including her ex-husband and media, for their perceived indifference and lack of action, and her determination in this task is steadfast, a fact which is highlighted perfectly when she responds with indifference that the billboards wouldn't be as effective after you croak. After the even-tempered chief, who is sympathetic to her predicament but hamstrung by civil rights laws, confides to her that he's dying with cancer. Now, I said earlier that the film was primarily about Mildred, but it's not solely her story. Sharing it with her is the often violent, unwitting mother's boy Dixon, played magnificently by Sam Rockwell, a man who, although shares a similar disdain for civil rights, is the complete antithesis of Mildred and displays more than a hint of racism early on. He's a deeply unlikable man at first and is really set up as an antagonistic character, but his redemption was one of the big positives I took from this film, and I ended up loving the lunatic at the end. I don't know if this was deliberate or not, but one observation I made was the music played at the beginning when Mildred has her awakening with the billboards also plays during the police station fire scene when Dixon seems to have his. Another real positive was the moments of dark comedy interspersed amongst the powerful messages of loss and vengeance. In any other film, you're probably not supposed to laugh at a man getting thrown out of a window or his assistant getting punched in the nose, but this is a McDonagh film, as I said, and that is what he does. I have got a sadistic sense of humour anyway, and was killing myself at that standout scene, and also the boot in the groin scene involving 2 teenagers shortly afterwards. But the best scene for me was probably the slapping down Mildred gave the priest, and that "so why don't you just finish up your tea now, father, and get the fuck out of my kitchen" line will live long in the memory. And whilst I'm discussing positives of the film, and let's be honest, there's a plethora of them in this film, I'll go ahead and throw the dialogue in there too. This film is full to the brim with punchy, funny and infinitely quotable lines. Frances McDormand is utterly incredible here. She imbued her character with palpable emotion throughout, and a profanity-fueled, rapier-sharp wit that often had me in stitches. Mildred was something of a emotionally isolated shut-in after her daughter's death. This clearly hardened and shaped her psyche like a piece of smelted iron in that 7-month period. Her almost military overall outfit and use of the billboards acted like a metaphorical announcement to the world that she was back and meant business. As I already said, Sam Rockwell was magnificent. He pushed McDormand all the way for my favourite and standout performer in this film. His transformation was astonishing to see, felt organic, and shouldn't have been possible in a 115-minute film Dixon felt like the most developed character in this, and he went from being an ignorant racist to telling his mother off towards the end about her racial quip and fighting for justice, something which would have been completely alien to the man in the beginning. Harrelson, I have to say, was also brilliant as Willoughby, and there was a few real standout scenes with him. Although he was quite prominent in the first half of the film, he didn't actually have a huge amount of screen time, but he did utilise the time he had extremely well and delivered a poignant performance. There was a real profound moment with him that I won't spoil, which seemed to act as the catalyst for transforming his good friend Dixon. It's quite incredible just how much of a stir 3 simple billboards caused amongst the Ebbing residents, with many of the prominent male figures in particular popping up to air their grievances, only to be slapped down one by one in disdainful fashion each time. That's the real raison d'etre of this film, certainly Mildred's, and it's such a simplistic plot device, and yet it works, thanks in part I think to the brilliant screenplay and also the outstanding acting. I read that the inspiration for this great film partly lies in Vidor, Texas, where Steve Fulton put 3 very similar signs up after a family member of his was murdered, and continued to do so for nigh on 30 years. Sadly in the end his efforts were fruitless, much like Mildred Hayes in this film, but his and Mildred's story are more than about vengeance. They're about grief, loss, the profound effect it has on people, and how it shapes their future. This film has that Shawshank Redemption vibe to it that keeps drawing me back in again and again. I've seen it 3 times now, and I think it's absolutely exceptional, and I have no hesitation in recommending it to anybody, and I'll be giving it a perfect 5 out of 5. Remember guys, if you're enjoying the content we're putting out, then be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube and iTunes, and give us a little follow on Facebook at Movie Burner Entertainment and on Twitter at Movie Burners. You can also catch up with all the latest reviews we're putting out at the Movie Burner blog on movieburnerentertainment.org. Until the next time, goodbye.